Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Best Slot here with episode 6 of the Creation Kit tutorial series, and today we're going to do something that you guys have been asking for quite a while now, and I've kind of relented because, well, everybody's asking for this. You know, it's quite a big deal I suppose, and it probably makes sense to do it now as opposed to later on when the dungeon is fully developed. So what we're going to do today? Today we are going to connect our dungeon to the outside world. How exciting is that? The answer? Very. So, as always, you want file data, you want to load your dungeon, and you want to load Skyrim.esm. When you're loading your dungeon, click it, make sure you click set as active file, and make sure the status on the right hand side says active file. That'll make the saving process a whole lot easier and make it actually work. Now when you've done that, you need to decide where you want the entrance to your dungeon. This is typically the first corridor in mine, so this is where we're going to put it, and as you can see here, I've gone ahead and deleted the first piece, you know, the very end piece. The reason being it had a cap on it, and what we want is actually a doorway. So this is a big hallway, so we've gone to Nordic Dungeons, where are we? We've gone to Dungeons, Nordic, BG Halls, and this has left us here. And as we've done many times before, we're going to take this piece there, which is Nordic Hall, big one-way end, we want that. A small exit, because we're only going to put a small doorway in here, we don't want a huge one because it'll take up the entire corridor, 0, 1. You want to go ahead and drag that in. And that will slot beautifully into place, and as you can see we now have a doorway. Huzzah! But a doorway without a door is pretty much useless, so we need to find a door. We are going to go up you want to go up on the left through your object window into world objects like the dungeons were, and you want to click door, and keep your filter NOR in there, or just add an NOR filter, make this easier. And the door we're going to use is Nordic Door SM01, and this should theoretically slot beautifully in, and there it is. That's all it takes at the inside at the moment. We're going to come back here later just to sort a couple more things out, but for now, sorted. Hooray! Right, so now we need to build our exterior part of this. We need an outside location, like a big dungeon, basically, where you can enter into the inside part of the dungeon. You know, like you see all the time. A Nordic ruin on the outside, basically. To do that, first things first, we're going to change world space to Tamriel. You want to open your cell view and do that. This does have to load quite a few cells and stuff, so it will take a little while to load. Don't worry about it, just give it a few minutes. It won't even take that, it'll take a few seconds. So yes, I'd like to thank you all for pressuring me over and over again until I relented and did this. Right, what we're going to do is in Tamriel, we're going to use a Bethesda recommended location, which I find to be very good for this kind of thing. We're going to use x3, y -11, and you want to go ahead and click go. And that'll take you to a view like this in your render view. So go to world space Tamriel, change your x to 3, your y to -11, and click go. Then you want to go and find that in this editor ID sort of cell view here on the left. You want to find 3 -11, and you want to rename it. You want to rename it to your dungeon name exterior. So as you can see, I've already found it, 3 -11. Rename it the same way we always do by hitting F2, and that'll allow you to rename it. And call it whatever it is. So Lollipop Rainbow Dungeon Exterior, if that's your kind of thing. Just rename it, and then we know where it is, and we can COC there if necessary. So now we need to actually build our dungeon, and this is a very nice location for it, as you can see. Riverwood is just across the river, so you know it's quite close to something, but yeah, it's a good place. Now we're going to build. To do that, we need some Nordic pieces again, and we're going to use their exterior pieces, which is very nicely marked here. So go again to Dungeons Nordic Exterior, and we're going to use dwellings. We're going to use 2 pieces from this, and then we're going to use a door similar to the one we used inside. And the ones we're going to use are Nordic Dwelling 02 Exit Base B and Nordic Dwelling 02 Exit Base C. Now, just a warning, when you're dealing with outside like this, the rotation is very, very, very sensitive. Be very, very gentle with it, otherwise you'll just lose yourself and go flying across the map. If that happens, come back into here, find your dungeon exterior and double click it, and that'll take you back to the same place. But just try to be a bit careful, because it will throw you around the map, believe me. So we found a nice spot. We're going to go ahead and drag our exterior in, and as you can see it looks stupid, so we're going to rotate that around. And now we need to kind of get a place where it's not hovering, but the door is accessible. And pretty much already, that's perfect. You just need it somewhere. I mean, it doesn't matter if some parts sink into the ground. That's natural. That would happen over time anyway. But make sure the door's visible and, some of the steps are visible. Now we need to go ahead and drag base B in. So that's base C, and this is base B. This is like a back piece, basically. And you might have to drop that down. Again, to drop down, you hold Z and just drag your mouse downwards. And just position that around until that fits. Now, I could move that back towards there, but I kind of like the positioning of the door, so we're going to go ahead and keep that there, and instead we're going to duplicate that piece and rotate it around eventually and reattach it so it blends straight into the map. Okay, it doesn't blend straight into the map, but you get my point. We could duplicate it again, and once I can get hold of it, there we go, duplicate it again and attach it again, just so it blends straight into the mountain, looks natural. Dead easy to do that, guys, using Nordic Dwelling 02 exit base C, Nordic Dwelling 02 exit base B, and these are in this section here, the dwellings section. So now we have our exterior, and we need to go ahead and add a door the same way we did when we were inside. To do that, again, we're going to go to door, stick with our Nordic filter, and we'll just use 02 this time, drag it in, exactly the same as we did a minute ago, rotate it round, and it fits beautifully. And now we have an outside dungeon. Fantastic, dead easy to do. Nearly sorted there. Ugh. We're nearly finished now, guys. We don't actually have much left to do for this. It's dead easy to do, and it does give a professionalism to your dungeon. What we need to do though is now link these two doors together. And to do that, what we need to do is double click it, and this will open up this reference page. You want to hit teleport here, click that, and don't do anything else, just leave that there. And now we need to go and find our inside. So we need to go back onto interiors, still with your reference window open. Give it a second to catch up as well. Okay, there we go. So we're going to load interiors, we're going to load Naax's tomb, and there we are. Oopsie daisy, zoomed out. Zoom out a bit, rotate around, and now you need to move your render window to the side and get your reference window back up. Now this is the reference window for the outside door, and easiest way to link these is keep this open, swap to you inside, make sure teleport's ticked, and then click this button here which is select reference in render window. So whatever we click in here, whichever doorway, that will now become our teleport point. And as you can see, this crosshair turns white when we go over the door frame. So all we do, double click, and now that is our door. That right there is our marker. If you can't see that, hit M and that'll make it disappear and vanish. These are markers, these are just, don't worry about it yet. And that arrow on the side also shows what direction you'll arrive in. So rotate it round until that's facing the right way. And you could always move it a little bit out if you want them further away from the door. But that now signifies to the game, if someone clicks the outside door, they spawn inside here at that point. Sorted. We're nearly done. We've got a couple more things just to quickly do to sort of tidy this all up. For example, you go to a dungeon in the real game and you'll get a map marker and you'll be able to fast travel there, and that's now what we need to do. So we're going to change, we're going to go back to Tamriel. Give it a second. Oh, you can go ahead and just, well, when it's responding, go ahead, click your reference window and just click OK. That's done now. Again, when it's done, crashing on me. This will happen, especially when loading Tamriel, like I said, just because there's so much for it to load. Go ahead and load your Naax's tomb exterior. Our dungeon should be over here somewhat. There it is, looking beautiful. And there's me trying... Oh, Jesus Christ. There's me trying to rotate. Again, incredibly finicky for whatever reason. If you lose it like I just did, just start searching for the name, find it, and just double click it again or hit enter, and that will give it you back. Be very gentle with the rotating, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, so we're here at the exterior to our dungeon. What we need is to add a map marker. What I want you to do is go ahead on this left bit on the object window, go down to the bottom, hit all, and then get rid of that and just write map marker. And this is the one you want, this one here with the little house symbol. You want to drag that in, place that somewhere, wherever you want your map marker to be, and basically whenever they go within this circle, they will then register. You know when you're walking around in the game and it says you have discovered blah de blah de blah. Well, now when they walk within this circle, they will discover blah de blah de blah. Dead easy to do. So all we did was go filter for map marker, search for all, drag it in, and there it is. It's already, you know, fully done. I'm going to drag that down a little bit. Make sure your map marker's visible above the ground. And just so we've got a bit of information on that map marker, we're going to go double click it. You want to click marker data, tick it, and add a name. And this is the name that will show up when you approach it or when you're fast traveling there. This is what will turn up. So obviously we're going to call it Naax's tomb. Type anything you want, but logically for us it's going to be a Nordic ruin. Click OK, and now the Nordic ruin bit will actually tell what icon to use, so it looks like a Nordic ruin on the map, and the name obviously will pop up appropriately. That's about all we have to do. I did encounter a couple problems with this when I was loading it in game, in that my actual dungeon pieces wouldn't show. One thing that fixed it for me, which, look, it may work perfectly for you guys as it is now. I can't guarantee it, so I'm going to ask you to just do this as well. You want to go ahead, hit Control E. Give that a second, and that's going to load up your nav mesh. I've said I'm going to do this in a tutorial, and I will. I don't want you to worry about what you're seeing here. Don't fret about it. It's not a big deal. We're going to handle it in the future. But hit Control E to bring up your nav mesh, and then you want to hit this tick button here. Just hit that. Give that a second, and then close. And that's all you have to do, and that seemingly fixed the little problem I was having. We will deal with nav mesh properly in the future, but for now that is literally all I want you to worry about, just what we did there. So that's it. We've built the exterior of the dungeon, we've added doors, we've added a map marker, we've added a teleport. That is all there is to it. I'm going to go take this into game so I can show you how to get there and how it works, and we can make sure it's working and check if there's any bugs and stuff like that. And I shall see you there. Cheers. So here we are, outside Naax's tomb. As you can see, it's sitting there rather beautifully, works perfectly well. There's Riverwood over there, and there's our tomb. If we go into the map, we have the map marker for it, spelled perfectly well. It's got the Nordic ruin symbol, and pretty much all good. Obviously there's an issue there that I'm going to have to sort out, maybe put a few boulders there or something like that. Now, ignore what I said about the nav mesh. You don't actually need to do that bit. When I loaded this the first time, after recording the previous little bit of the video, it actually didn't work. This bit of the dungeon wasn't here. The door was here fine, the door had no problems, but the actual exterior dungeon wasn't here. Now, I'm not sure what causes this problem at all, and if I figure it out, if I find out what's going on, if any of you happen to tell me, I will make an annotation in this video in the top left at around this point, and you guys will be able to see what's happening and know how to fix it yourselves. However, the way I fixed it now is basically I went back into the creation kit, opened up this exterior cell, and just clicked each piece, dragged it up, dragged it down, just sort of put them back in place again. Also, when you are viewing your dungeon in the creation kit, and if you're getting sort of like hazy shadows, kind of weird shapes on it, just go to view, render biasing, or is it depth bias? I think it's depth bias. Just click that and that'll sort it out. But yeah, as far as I know, simply moving it about, moving the dungeon pieces up and down actually fixed the issue, and if I find out what the problem really is, then I'll let you guys know, but just mess around with it and I promise it will eventually work. Let's go inside, shall we? Oh god, that looks weird. Yep, here we are. Naax's tomb. Door leads out, we've got a quest leading out, so it's even got the little symbol. That's kind of cool. Outside, and we're back out. So that's how you do it, guys. That is how you connect your dungeon to the outside world. We will probably mess around with this aspect in the future a little bit, sort of tighten it all up, neaten it all up. We will be doing a video purely on optimization in the future, but that's going to come after quite a bit more dungeon building and work. We're going to do AI and stuff. Next video is going to be about nav meshing, which you saw earlier. We're going to go into detail about that, how it works, what it does, and why you need to do it. But as far as I know, the nav mesh isn't actually the issue with this. And there it is. Thank you for joining me. As always, if you've got any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Don't send me a personal message because I can't reply. Sorry guys, I just can't. I don't know what's going on. I've emailed YouTube asking what's going on, but for now I can't do anything about them. But if you have questions, feel free to comment. many people are very helpful as well. So you know, your question will 9 times out of 10 get answered. I hope this tutorial has been helpful. I hope the series has been helpful, and stick around for the next one where we'll do nav meshing, and then after that things are going to get a little bit more exciting because we are going to have a look at AI and adding enemies to our dungeon, and that is going to make it 1,000 times cooler. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you then. Cheers.